Unlock your health potential. Learning to identify root cause. Number 16. Toxic diet, toxic lifestyle. Picture putting sunscreen on your skin, knowing it has toxic chemicals in it. Envision biting into a carrot, knowing it's tainted with pesticides. Imagine drinking a cup of water, knowing it's contaminated by pollutants from local farms and factories. This is the world we live in. Modern diet and lifestyle rely increasingly on diverse synthetic chemicals, and everyday food and consumer products often act as an interface between those chemicals and humans. For industries contaminate our diet and lifestyle with devastating toxicity. These are the food industry, also known as Big Food, the pharmaceuticals industry, also known as Big Pharma, the personal care products industry, and the household cleaning products industry. To put things in perspective, the CAS Registry, the world's most comprehensive and authoritative collection of disclosed chemical substance information, maintained by the Chemical Abstracts Service, contains over 279 million unique chemical substances as of October 2025. Of these, over 350,000 chemicals are registered for use across various consumer products, and less than 1% of them have been thoroughly evaluated for safety. As these numbers keep growing rapidly, understanding their human health implications is increasingly becoming a challenge. All four industries utilize a variety of harmful chemicals that are often untested and unregulated in their products. They often prioritize profit over public health, leading to the proliferation of toxic products and unhealthy foods that contribute to various diseases. These industries exert significant influence over government policies, scientific research, and public health initiatives, often prioritizing corporate interests over public health. And they mislead consumers about the health impacts of their products and resist efforts to improve labeling and regulations. The first mammoth industry that introduces toxins into our lives is Big Food. It supplies most of the food consumed by the world's population and is a complex global network of diverse businesses involving various stages, from farming to production to consumption. It includes farming and agriculture, encompassing crop and livestock production, fishing and aquaculture. Equipment and chemicals, encompassing manufacturing of farm equipment and agrochemicals, including insecticides, herbicides, fungicides, nematicides, synthetic fertilizers, hormones and growth agents, concentrated animal manure, liming and acidifying agents, soil conditioners, and antibiotics. Food processing, encompassing manufacturing, packaging, and preserving food products. Food distribution, encompassing transportation, storage, and logistics of food products from production to consumption. Food retail, encompassing sales and marketing of food products to consumers through various channels, such as supermarkets, restaurants, and online platforms. Food service, encompassing preparation and serving of food in restaurants and other establishments. U.S. Big Food directly supports over 24 million jobs, representing 15% of U.S. employment, and is responsible for more than $9.5 trillion of the country's economic activity, about 20% of total U.S. output. Big Food begins with nearly 2 million farms and ranches, spreads across the heartland and stretches to the coasts, covering 2 out of every 5 American acres. It culminates with millions of food scientists, production workers, logistics experts, truck drivers, and engineers working in almost 200,000 food manufacturing, processing, and storage facilities to keep the food supply chains churning. It also encompasses more than 1 million restaurant and food service locations and roughly 200,000 retail food stores. Big Food is constantly evolving. Supermarkets are becoming more like restaurants, and restaurants are becoming more like supermarkets, and all the while consumers are getting comfortable buying food online. These trends are changing the way Americans eat and impacting the way the food industry does business. The major multinational corporations that dominate the global food industry include Nestle, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Unilever, Danone, General Mills, Kellogg's, Mars, Associated British Foods, and Mondelez. These corporations exert significant control over food production, processing, and distribution. Their primary objective is profit maximization, which often takes precedence over public health, ethical practices, and sustainability. The term Big Food is frequently used critically to point out monopolistic practices, the emphasis on profit over health, and the manipulation of consumer demand. Critics argue that these practices contribute to environmental degradation, public health crises, and the loss of cultural food diversity. These corporate giants control a wide range of food brands, sometimes monopolizing entire food categories. For instance, just 10 companies control over 50% of the global food and beverage market, showcasing their market dominance. This control spans from agricultural inputs like seeds and pesticides to the end consumer products, influencing the entire food supply chain. These companies have a huge impact that has led to a shift from local to centralized industrial food production. This has altered dietary patterns, pushing processed, high-margin foods that are often less nutritious. This shift is linked to increasing rates of obesity and malnutrition globally. Big food companies significantly invest in advertising, spending billions annually to shape consumer tastes and preferences. For example, in 2023, the global food and beverage advertising expenditure was around $1.3 trillion, aiming to promote convenience over traditional, home-cooked meals. These corporations wield considerable lobbying power, impacting food policy and regulation. In the US, the food industry spent nearly $100 million on lobbying in 2023 alone, influencing everything from food safety laws to agricultural subsidies. This influence often prioritizes corporate profits over public health and environmental sustainability. Through two of its sectors, industrial agriculture and processed food, the food industry introduces a wide spectrum of toxins into our food chain. These toxins can come from natural sources, such as mold or bacteria, or from synthetic chemicals used in farming, processing, packaging, and preservation. The first sector that introduces a wide spectrum of toxins into our food chain is intensive agriculture, often called industrial agriculture. It is a farming method focused on producing maximum plant and animal yields within limited land areas. To achieve this goal, this sector relies heavily on mechanization, synthetic chemical inputs such as fertilizers and pesticides, and advanced technologies like genetic engineering and precision agriculture. Extractive high-input farming became the dominant form of agriculture in the US in the 1950s and has been gradually spreading around the globe ever since. While industrial agriculture does produce incredible volumes of calories and generates staggering profits for agribusiness corporations, it comes with many serious consequences for animal, human, and the environment well-being. Mechanization and synthetic inputs make it possible for one farm to harvest hundreds of acres of crops or raise thousands of animals, reaping economies of scale. Because of their large size, these industrial farms typically supply national and global brands that market standardized packaged goods, rather than providing fresh food products to regional food webs. In the name of maximizing yields and profits, industrial farms typically rely on harmful practices and production inputs, known to negatively impact human health and environmental conditions, including planting the same crop repeatedly on the same land, leading to soil degradation, erosion, and loss of biodiversity. Heavy use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, leading to air pollution, water contamination, harming wildlife, and the development of pesticide-resistant pests. GMOs, which are created through the transfer of genes from one species to another, often using bacteria or viruses as vectors. Overuse of antibiotics, promoting antibiotic resistance, and contributing to the development of superbugs that threaten human health. Confined animal spaces leading to animal welfare concerns, as well as air and water pollution, and using hot irons or other methods to burn or cut animal skin, causing prolonged pain and potentially leading to infections and scarring. The second sector that introduces a wide spectrum of toxins into our food chain is the food processing industry. Walk into any supermarket and you can find a wide range of varied processed foods, from frozen fish fillets in the freezer section, canned beans and pasta sauce over in the middle aisles, to freshly baked breads and pastries at the bakery counter. But what does the term food processing actually mean? While definitions can vary, one common definition of food processing is any action or procedure that changes the initial food or raw materials used to produce food. This can involve one or a combination of processes such as washing, chopping, pasteurizing, freezing, fermenting, packaging, heating, milling, extruding, or adding ingredients to foods. Processing can also refer to the transformation of ingredients into food products, for example, making bread. Food processing can take place both at home, out of home, such as in restaurants, and at an industrial scale. By this definition, it becomes clear that the majority foods we eat in our day-to-day lives are processed to some extent. There are 4 categories of food. Unprocessed or minimally processed foods. Examples include fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, seeds, eggs, meat, poultry, pasta, plain yogurt, and coffee. Processed culinary ingredients. These include sugar, honey, maple syrup, vegetable oils, butter, and vinegar. Processed foods. Examples are salted nuts, cured meat, canned fish, canned vegetables, most cheeses, and freshly made bread from a local bakery. And ultra-processed foods. Examples include commercially produced breads, most breakfast cereals, flavored yogurts, hot dogs, frozen meals, potato chips, soft drinks, and candy bars. Industrial-scale food processing encompasses a wide range of activities, from transforming raw agricultural products like grains, vegetables, meats, and dairy into consumable food items through a variety of methods aimed at extending shelf life, preventing spoilage, and enabling the transportation of perishable goods over long distances. The Consumer Brands Association estimates that in the U.S. alone, this sector amasses an annual revenue share of roughly $850 billion. Most foods we eat have been processed in some way by the time they reach our plates. However, the concern about processed food isn't over items like canned tomatoes or canned tuna, which are processed to lock in freshness and nutrients. The concern is over ultra-processed foods, which have been linked to a variety of health problems, including obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. These foods are basically industrial formulations. They're mass-produced with some or a lot of industrially processed ingredients. They contain ingredients you wouldn't find in a typical kitchen, such as emulsifiers, colorings, flavor enhancers, bulking agents, gels. They're usually higher in low-quality fat, higher in salt, and higher in added sugar, and they tend to be lower in fiber and micronutrients. The term ultra-processed food first appeared in writing in the 1980s. These foods are generally understood to be mass-produced with some or a lot of industrially processed ingredients. They're basically industrial formulations. They contain ingredients you wouldn't find in a typical kitchen, things like emulsifiers, colorings, flavor enhancers, bulking agents, gels. And the other thing is that ultra-processed foods tend to be, in the majority of cases, higher in low-quality fat, higher in salt, and higher in sugar. Scientists working on formulations for ultra-processed foods are really good at their jobs. They formulate the taste of the food to what is known as the bliss point, the precise combination of sugar, salt, and fat to maximize palatability, which encourages overconsumption. When you hear a commercial about how you can't eat just one, they literally mean it. It's estimated that nearly 60% of U.S. adults' calorie consumption comes from ultra-processed food. Among American children, that portion is close to 70%. In other words, ultra-processed foods, things like packaged snacks, sodas, frozen pizzas, sweetened cereals, and instant soups, are beyond overwhelming the American diet at this point. So how toxic is your diet? Our food should be nourishing and safe to eat, but more than 10,000 chemicals, some of which are potentially toxic, are allowed to be added to it in the U.S. Almost 99% of food chemicals introduced since 2000 were green-lighted for use rather than properly reviewed by the FDA. Many of these chemicals are associated with major health harms, including increased risk of cancer, developmental harm, and hormone disruption. Next is a brief overview of major toxins that might be lurking in processed food products you consume regularly. Remember that we discuss strategies and tips regarding how to reduce toxic load in your diet in our Resolve Your Root Causes video series. So be on the lookout for those videos. If you opt for consuming processed food, keep your eyes open for the following major toxins that might be lurking in it. Added sugars. There are some 257 names for sugar that could be listed on food labels. Despite very minor variations, they all lead to a wide range of serious health issues, including obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and liver damage, with recent research highlighting its role in inflammation, cognitive decline, and skin aging. Added sugar contributes to oxidative stress, insulin resistance, and the formation of harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products, which accelerate aging and increase the risk of chronic diseases. Artificial colors. They contain various chemicals and are commonly derived from petroleum products. From soda to salmon, the food industry adds more than 15 million pounds of artificial food dyes into our food supply each year. They have been linked to attention deficit/hyperactivity disorder. Artificial and natural flavors. There are thousands of artificial or natural flavors, with one food product potentially containing more than 100 individual flavor substances. A single natural flavor may contain up to 100 different synthetic chemicals, including solvents, preservatives, and emulsifiers, which are not required to be listed on labels. Studies link flavorings to depression, dizziness, chest pain, headaches, fatigue, allergies, brain damage, seizures, and nausea. Some popular flavorings can also cause genetic defects, tumors, and bladder cancer. Artificial trans fats, or trans fatty acids. Research has proved the direct connection of trans fatty acids with cardiovascular diseases, breast cancer, shortening of pregnancy period, risks of preeclampsia, disorders of nervous system and vision in infants, colon cancer, diabetes, obesity, and allergy. Note that due to a regulatory loophole, a product labeled as containing partially hydrogenated oils likely contains trans fats. Aspartame, present in about 6,000 products globally, including carbonated soft drinks, powdered soft drinks, chewing gum, frozen desserts, yogurt, tabletop sweeteners, and over 500 pharmaceuticals such as vitamins and cough drops. As of November 2025, close to 2,000 studies on the health effects of aspartame on humans and animals have been reported on the National Library of Medicine. Many of these studies found a link between regular intake of aspartame and a host of physiological, cognitive, and emotional problems, including cancer, neurotoxicity, genotoxicity, nephrotoxicity, hepatotoxicity, increased risk of metabolic syndrome, and many more. Citric acid, a food additive that is not natural citric acid. It is actually manufactured through fermentation using a mold called Aspergillus niger. According to research published in Toxicology Reports magazine, this food additive may be contributing to the inflammation seen in asthma, autistic spectrum disorder, and fibromyalgia. Dough conditioners and strengtheners. Azotocarbonamide, also known as a DA or yoga mat, a common dough conditioner, is linked to respiratory issues, asthma, skin problems, and heightened allergic reactions. Ironically, it is also used in plastic manufacturing, including yoga mats and foam products. Potassium bromate, another dough strengthener, is classified as a possible carcinogen. It also has the potential to disrupt the genetic material within cells. Scientists have observed such damage in human liver and intestine cells, where exposure to potassium bromate resulted in breaks in DNA strands and chromosomal damage. It is banned in the EU, Canada, China, and Brazil. Heavy metals can enter food through contaminated water, soil, or industrial waste. They are known to cause neurological damage, kidney problems, and increase the risk of cancer through various mechanisms. Maltodextrin, primarily derived from genetically modified corn and has been shown to cause bloating, alter the gut lining, and result in brain fog. Monosodium glutamate, or MSG, an excitotoxin, which means that it overstimulates neuron receptors. Neuron receptors allow brain cells to communicate with each other. But when exposed to excitotoxins, they fire impulses at such a rapid rate that they become exhausted and depleted. Then they die. A growing body of research strongly suggests that regularly consuming excitotoxins over an extended period of time can destroy significant numbers of brain cells and potentially trigger or worsen fibromyalgia, IBS, learning disabilities, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, ALS disease, and more. One of the best overviews of MSG can be found in Dr. Russell Blaylock's book Excitotoxins, The Taste That Kills. Mycotoxins, produced by mold, these toxins can contaminate grains, nuts, and fruits. Mycotoxins are known to cause neurological damage, liver and kidney problems, and cancer through various mechanisms. Overuse of antibiotics. Globally, approximately 2/3 of all antibiotics are used in farm animals rather than humans, with the US seeing about 70% of its antibiotics sold for animal use. This widespread use by intensive farming systems contributes to the development and spread of resistant bacteria, which can be transmitted to humans through the food chain, direct contact with animals, and environmental contamination via manure and wastewater. This resistance leads to more difficult-to-treat infections, contributing to nearly 3 million illnesses and 35,000 deaths annually in the US alone. Parasites. Common food sources of parasites include undercooked pork and other raw or undercooked meats, raw fruits and vegetables, raw or undercooked freshwater or marine fish, raw or undercooked crustaceans or mollusks, raw aquatic plants such as watercress, unpasteurized cider, and milk. Pathogenic bacteria. These bacteria can thrive in various food products and environments, with contamination sources including raw meat and poultry, dairy products, eggs, seafood, and fresh produce. Perfluorinated compounds, used for over 60 years in a wide variety of industrial and consumer products, including nonstick cookware, stain and water-resistant coatings, firefighting foams, and food packaging. They are linked to reproductive issues, impaired immune system, thyroid problems, and increased risk of certain cancers, including prostate, kidney, and testicular cancers. Pesticides and chemical fertilizers. Exposure to these chemicals has been consistently linked to cancer, neurological damage, and reproductive issues through extensive epidemiological and toxicological research. Phthalates and BPA. These toxins are used in food packaging and processing. They are well-established endocrine-disrupting chemicals that interfere with hormone synthesis, bioavailability, and action, leading to a range of adverse health effects. Preservatives. Used to extend shelf life by preventing spoilage from microbes and oxidation, but their long-term consumption is linked to several health risks. Long-term consumption of food treated with these chemicals is linked to carcinogenicity, genotoxicity, severe allergic reactions including asthma attacks, behavioral disturbances, and hyperactivity in children. The second mammoth industry that introduces toxins into our lives is Big Pharma. It is a global sector dedicated to the discovery, development, production, and marketing of drugs and medications used to treat and manage diseases and alleviate symptoms. It encompasses a wide range of activities, including research and development, clinical trials, regulatory compliance, manufacturing, and distribution, involving various stakeholders such as pharmaceutical companies, biotechnology firms, academic institutions, contract service providers, and regulatory agencies. The global pharmaceutical market was valued at approximately $1.6 trillion in 2023, with projections indicating it will grow to $2.8 trillion by 2032. The U.S. remains the largest market and exporter of pharmaceuticals, accounting for nearly 40% of global pharmaceutical sales and nearly one-third of all pharmaceutical exports. The pharmaceutical industry is often viewed as a foe to public health due to its profit-driven motives, which can conflict with the primary responsibility of physicians to their patients. The industry is criticized for its significant influence on healthcare decisions through marketing tactics, including the use of pharmaceutical sales representatives who are salespeople, not educators, and whose activities, such as providing gifts, meals, samples, and sponsoring seminars, can unconsciously influence prescribing habits. This influence is amplified by the industry's massive sales and marketing budgets. Study after study shows that large pharmaceutical companies allocate a greater budget for marketing and sales than they allocate for R&D spending. In 2024, pharmaceutical companies spent over $10 billion on drug advertising in the U.S. alone, with pharmaceutical advertising making up 24% of evening ad minutes on news programs through ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, and NBC. In addition, in 2024, the industry ranked as the top lobbying sector in the U.S., spending $388 million on federal lobbying. It is on pace for record-breaking lobbying spending in 2025, having already spent $227 million in the first half of the year. The industry has been involved in numerous scandals involving fraudulent practices, which have led to multi-billion-dollar settlements for companies like Eli Lilly, Pfizer, GlaxoSmithKline, and Johnson & Johnson. These actions have eroded public trust, with studies showing that a majority of Americans believe pharmaceutical companies prioritize profits over patient well-being. Here is one of many examples of a typical self-serving flip-flop mastered by this industry and embraced by the conventional medical community. 1850. Diabetic patients should avoid sugar and starch entirely. Meat and fat are safe. 1900. Diabetic patients should eat only meat, eggs, and butter until symptoms resolve. 1920. Diabetic patients need insulin but should still restrict carbohydrates significantly. 1950. Diabetic patients can eat moderate carbs if they take enough insulin. 1980. Diabetic patients should eat plenty of whole grains as part of a balanced diet. 2025. Diabetic patients should eat 45 to 60 gram carbs per meal and take metformin, insulin, and GLP-1 agonists. Notice the pattern. As pharmaceutical options increased, carb recommendations increased. It's not that the science changed, it's that the profit model changed. The treatment that kept diabetics alive for centuries was progressively replaced by treatments that generate recurring revenue. Your great-great-grandfather's Dr. New carbs were the problem. So no, this industry doesn't act like a friend. More often than not, you're viewed as just a revenue stream. The most common fraudulent practices by Big Pharma reported to date are kickbacks to physicians, off-label marketing of drugs for purposes other than approved by the FDA, providing inaccurate data to the FDA during research trials, inflating the price of pharmaceuticals, and not giving the best price to the government. You are welcome to conduct your own research on this subject. The Pharmaceutical Integrity Coalition website is a good place to start. Back to our main topic of toxicity, it's a well-documented fact that adverse prescription drug effects and other medical errors are the third leading cause of death in the U.S. Globally, medication-related harm happens in about 1 in 20 patients. Approximately 1.3 million Americans experience medication-related harm each year. Medication errors harm more than 1.5 million people a year. More than 2 million adverse event and medication error reports are submitted to the U.S. FDA's MedWatch program every year. Approximately 300,000 medication errors are reported yearly to poison control centers in the United States. And believe it or not, by most estimates, only 1 to 10% of adverse events are ever reported. An extensive range of studies and lawsuits already document strategies by which pharmaceutical companies hide, ignore, or misrepresent evidence about new drugs, distort the medical literature, and misrepresent products to prescribing physicians. Add to these facts the additional problem of research fraud, studies published in top medical journals that fabricate results and omit adverse effects, and you have a perfect storm for consumers. It's simple. Consumers in America have a right to expect that the drugs they're prescribed are safe and effective. Clearly, that right is being ignored. Beyond the harmful side effects of the active ingredients in drugs, there are many more ingredients in every pill than what is listed on the bottle label. These other ingredients, referred to as inactive ingredients, are often sourced from around the world before landing in your medicine cabinet, and they are not always benign. Pharmaceutical inactive ingredients, often referred to as excipients, are not always inert and can pose significant health risks. These substances, which can make up to 90% of a medication's composition, are used to improve formulation, stability, taste, appearance, and delivery. Despite being labeled inactive, they can cause adverse reactions, particularly in individuals with allergies, intolerances, or sensitivities. Excipients are added during the manufacturing process of pharmaceutical products, such as tablets, capsules, suppositories, and injections. Decades of pharmaceutical development have tailored excipients to ensure that the desired properties of the formulation are met. The FDA approves excipients that are included in pharmaceutical products. However, not all excipients are always inactive. Examples of excipients that have been reported to cause reactions in some individuals are sulfites, benzoates, aspartame, saccharin, oleic acid, benzyl alcohol, lactose, soy lecithin, propylene glycol, and sorbitan trioleate. If you are currently taking prescription drugs, you are highly encouraged to research the inactive ingredients in your medications. The third mammoth industry that introduces toxins into our lives is the personal care products industry. In the US, the average person is exposed to more than 100 chemicals from cosmetics, soaps, and other personal care products before leaving the house in the morning. Most of us use 12 beauty and personal care products on average every day. These products can contain hundreds of unique chemicals that we absorb, inhale, and ingest. Some are linked to cancer, birth defects, learning disabilities, and other serious health problems. Lax regulation means the industry can sell products made with virtually any industrial chemical, without FDA safety testing or review. The personal care products industry encompasses a broad range of consumer goods designed for personal hygiene, grooming, and beautification, playing a vital role in daily life. The industry is valued at approximately $380 billion in 2024 and projected to grow to $632 billion by 2032. Personal care products encompass many items designed to enhance personal hygiene, appearance, and well-being. These products fall into several categories depending on their intended use and function, including skincare products, hair care products, oral care products, cosmetic products, fragrance and perfume products, soaps and shower gels, and men's grooming products. Each category of personal care products serves specific purposes and addresses various aspects of personal hygiene, grooming, and self-care. Over the past 3 decades, the popularity of cosmetic and personal care products has skyrocketed, largely driven by social media influence and the propagation of unrealistic beauty standards, especially among younger demographics. These products, promising enhanced appearance and self-esteem, have become integral to contemporary society. While people may assume these products are safe, their chemical ingredients are mostly untested and largely unregulated, with even known carcinogenic and endocrine-disrupting chemicals still found in some formulations. What's more, ingredient labels can be misleading, leaving even the savviest consumers in the dark about the safety of the products they use every day. Under a law that has not been updated since 1938, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has little power to regulate the ingredients in personal care products. Even known offenders such as formaldehyde, triclosan, and phthalates are still legally permissible in product formulations. Companies are allowed to label their products organic, natural, or hospital-approved based on their own interpretation of the terms. They can also hide problematic ingredients in proprietary formulations by listing them as fragrance on a label. The application of personal care products permeates every aspect of daily life for people all over the world in today's social media-driven image-conscious society. A staggering 90% of individuals use some form of personal care product daily. These products not only pledge enhancements in attractiveness, but also tout the ability to boost self-confidence and foster overall well-being. These goods make the claims that they will improve attractiveness, increase self-confidence, and promote well-being. However, the risks posed by the harmful substances used in these products are masked beneath the attraction of beautiful skin and glossy hair. Recent studies have revealed the grave effects that utilizing such items has on human health, raising concerns regarding their safety and highlighting the need for stricter regulation. The phrase toxic beauty has become popular, denoting the potentially dangerous effects that some substances in personal care products may have on people's health, whether used topically or accidentally swallowed. Users of synthetic chemical-based personal care products are exposed to significantly higher risks than those opting for natural alternatives. The use of synthetic products has been associated with a variety of chronic diseases, including cancer, respiratory conditions, neurological disorders, and endocrine disruption. The fourth industry that introduces toxins into our lives is the household cleaning products industry. Humans have been cleaning with chemical agents for around 5,000 years. Ancient Romans' version of the professional cleaner was the urine scrubber, after it was discovered that urine could be used to clean fabrics. Thankfully, we've come a long way since then. Household cleaning products promise to kill most of the harmful bacteria in our toilets, on our kitchen surfaces, and elsewhere around our homes. But there's a growing body of scientific evidence showing that they can also increase our exposure to various harmful chemical air contaminants and particulate matter. The household cleaning products industry encompasses a wide range of consumable products designed for cleaning and maintaining hygiene within residential spaces, including surfaces, windows, toilets, floors, kitchens, and laundry. It is a fast-growing sector driven by increasing health and hygiene awareness, product innovation, and changing lifestyles. The industry is valued at approximately $208 billion in 2024 and projected to grow to $383 billion by 2034. There is a wide variety of cleaning products on the market, but all formulas ultimately fall into one of four distinct categories, according to their cleaning mechanism and chemical properties. The four main categories of cleaning agents are abrasives. These are substances or chemicals that depend on rubbing or scrubbing action to clean dirt from hard surfaces. Acids. These are highly concentrated solutions that can be corrosive and dangerous. They work by dissolving stains and dirt, thus breaking them down for easier cleaning. Degreasers. These are alkaline in nature, making them break down grease quickly. They remove organic soils like fats, oils, and proteins, and are used mostly in the kitchen. Detergents. These are substances containing surfactants and soaps, and are the most popular cleaning agents. They are able to emulsify oils, hold dirt in suspension, and act as wetting agents. They are extremely versatile and come in many different forms from gel and powder to liquid. Today, more and more cleaning products are advertised as exceptionally effective while requiring very little elbow grease. All you have to do is simply aim, gently pull the trigger, and that's it. The soap scum, mold, and germs magically disappear. While caught up in the excitement of these miraculous cleaning products, many people fail to realize they contain toxic, dangerous man-made chemicals and pesticides. Caution, danger, and warning aren't written in bold on their labels for no reason. Most common cleaners today can actually be very harmful to our health. Most of us grew up believing that harsh chemicals were required for a properly cleaned home. Unfortunately, those familiar cleaning chemicals we all grew up with are indeed toxic to humans, the environment, and animals, and should be avoided at all costs. Cleaning products are not regulated, which means there is no requirement for an ingredient list. There is no safety standard, but the EPA does require signal words or warnings on labels of poisonous products such as danger, warning, caution, corrosive, and dispose as hazardous waste. These warnings are toxic red flags. Many chemicals in cleaning products are considered toxic because they've been shown to cause ill health effects such as cancers, endocrine disruption, obesity, developmental problems, respiratory disease, skin conditions, burns, vomiting, nervous system disorders, and much more. Some can even be fatal if ingested, inhaled, or absorbed into the skin. So, how toxic is your lifestyle? There are currently more than 85,000 chemicals in the US that make up the lifestyle products we use daily. Only a few of them have been tested for safety. Chances are many of the products you are using daily, be it skincare, cosmetics, shampoo, shaving cream, toothpaste, or household cleaners, are toxic. Next is a brief overview of major toxins that might be lurking in some of the products you use regularly. Before we proceed, we wanted to remind you that we discuss strategies and tips regarding how to reduce toxic load in your lifestyle in our Resolve Your Root Causes video series. So be on the lookout for those videos. Inactive ingredients in medications have been reported to cause adverse reactions in some patients. Commonly reported inactive ingredients associated with adverse events include aspartame, commonly employed in oral pharmaceutical preparations such as chewable tablets and liquid formulations to improve flavor and mask unpleasant tastes. It is used to make medicines more palatable, particularly in products like effervescent tablets containing amoxicillin or ibuprofen, orodispersible tablets containing paracetamol, and oral solutions containing penicillin. Chemical dyes. Approximately 33% of medications contain at least one chemical dye, and these have been linked to severe atopic reactions, particularly in patients with asthma or allergies. Phthalates in BPA. Found in medical equipment and pharmaceuticals. They are linked to reproductive and genital defects, lower sperm count, disrupted hormones, and infertility. Polyethylene glycol. Petroleum-based compounds that are widely used in pharmaceuticals as laxatives. It is found in 36% of oral medications. The process to produce PG requires the use of two carcinogenic, developmental toxicant chemicals that have well-documented toxic effects on humans. PG compounds themselves show some evidence of genotoxicity, and if used on broken skin can cause irritation and systemic toxicity. Povidone. Used to bind ingredients. Present in 36% of oral medications. While allergies are uncommon, case studies have documented reactions, particularly with repeated exposure. Propylene glycol, found in 11% of medications, it's associated with irritant and allergic contact dermatitis, as well as contact urticaria in humans. And sulfites, benzoates, saccharin, benzyl alcohol, soy lecithin, oleic acid, and sorbitan trioleate. These have also been reported to cause allergic or adverse reactions in some patients, particularly those with sensitivities or underlying conditions like asthma. Some of the ingredients in personal products aren't that pretty either. U.S. researchers report that 1 in 8 of the 82,000 ingredients used in personal care products are industrial chemicals, including carcinogens, pesticides, reproductive toxins, and hormone disruptors. Many products include plasticizers, chemicals that keep concrete soft, degreasers, used to get grime off auto parts, and surfactants. They reduce surface tension in water, like in paint and inks. Imagine what that does to your skin and to the environment. The following is a short list of some of the most well-known toxins lurking in personal care products. BHA and BHT, synthetic antioxidants used as preservatives in lipsticks and moisturizers, among other cosmetics. They are also widely used as food preservatives, known as possible human carcinogens and also as an endocrine disruptors. Coal tar dyes, colors used extensively in cosmetics, recognized as human carcinogens. DEA-related ingredients, compounds used to make cosmetics creamy or sudsy, known to cause mild to moderate skin and eye irritation. Also have been shown to cause liver cancers and precancerous changes in skin and thyroid. Formaldehyde-releasing preservatives, used as preservatives in a wide range of cosmetics. Formaldehyde is classified as a human carcinogen. Parabens, used preservative in cosmetics. They are also used as fragrance ingredients. Endocrine disruptors. Parabens can mimic estrogen and have been detected in human breast cancer tissues. Parfum or fragrance, a complex mixture of dozens of chemicals. Some 3,000 chemicals are used as fragrances. Many of these unlisted ingredients are irritants and can trigger allergies, migraines, and asthma symptoms. Phthalates and BPA, found in cosmetics and other personal care products. They are linked to reproductive and genital defects, lower sperm count, disrupted hormones, and infertility. Polyethylene glycol, discussed earlier, widely used in cosmetics as thickeners, solvents, softeners, and moisture carriers. Health risks are primarily associated with contaminants formed during its manufacturing process, which are classified as known human carcinogens. These contaminants can also cause skin irritation. Sodium lauryl sulfate, used in cosmetics as a detergent and also to make products bubble and foam. Volatile organic compounds, emitted from thousands of personal care products, including shampoos, body lotions, nail polishes, and other cosmetics. Chronic exposure to these compounds can have severe health effects, particularly on the respiratory system. Health effects include cancer. Some volatile organic compounds, such as formaldehyde and benzene, are also known carcinogens, liver and kidney damage, central nervous system damage, respiratory problems, and allergies and sensitivities. Household cleaning products often contain a range of toxic chemicals that can pose significant health and environmental risks. The following is a short list of some of the most well-known toxins lurking in personal care products. 2-butoxyethanol, found in window, kitchen, and multipurpose cleaners. In addition to causing sore throats when inhaled, at high levels glycol ethers can also contribute to narcosis, pulmonary edema, and severe liver and kidney damage. Ammonia, found as polishing agents for bathroom fixtures, sinks, and jewelry, also in glass cleaner. A powerful irritant. People who get a lot of ammonia exposure, like housekeepers, will often develop chronic bronchitis and asthma. Chlorine, found in scouring powders, toilet bowl cleaners, mildew removers, laundry whiteners, and household tap water. The health risks from chlorine can be acute, and they can be chronic. It is a respiratory irritant at an acute level. It may be a serious thyroid disruptor. Perchloroethylene or PERC, found in dry cleaning solutions, spot removers, and carpet and upholstery cleaners. A known neurotoxin and a possible carcinogen. Quaternary ammonium compounds, found in fabric softener liquids and sheets. Most household cleaners labeled antibacterial. An aggressive antibacterial agent that can promote the growth of drug-resistant bacteria. Sodium hydroxide lye, found in oven cleaners and drain openers. Extremely corrosive and can cause severe burns. Inhaling sodium hydroxide can cause a sore throat that lasts for days. Triclosan, found in most liquid dishwashing detergents and hand soaps labeled antibacterial. An aggressive antibacterial agent that can promote the growth of drug-resistant bacteria. Volatile organic compounds, discussed earlier, emitted from thousands of household cleaning products, including general-purpose cleaners, disinfectants, and air fresheners. Chronic exposure to these compounds can have severe health effects, particularly on the respiratory system. Health effects include cancer. Some volatile organic compounds such as formaldehyde and benzene are also known carcinogens, liver and kidney damage, central nervous system damage, respiratory problems, and allergies and sensitivities. This concludes our brief review of possible toxins lurking in your diet and lifestyle. We are hoping we piqued your interest and that you are inspired to conduct a more in-depth research with the aim of improving your daily choices. We highly recommend referring to the Environmental Working Group's massive body of research. Their mission is to use the power of information to protect human health and the environment. Since 1993, they've shined a spotlight on outdated legislation, harmful agricultural practices, and industry loopholes that pose a risk to our health and the health of our environment. Whether it's on Capitol Hill or in communities across America, they put the most important people, you and your family, at the center of the conversation. They develop online guides that provide you with practical solutions to protect yourself and your family from everyday exposures to potentially harmful chemicals. We highly recommend utilizing their guides on a regular basis. Our most favorite EWG guides are the EWG Healthy Living app, a free mobile application that provides science-backed ratings for over 250,000 food, personal care, and cleaning products using a 1 to 10 safety score, helping you make informed choices while shopping. Dirty Dozen, an annual list that identifies the 12 fruits and vegetables most contaminated with pesticide residues based on analysis of data from the USDA Pesticide Data Program. Clean 15, an annual list that identifies 15 fruits and vegetables with the lowest levels of pesticide residues when grown conventionally. Dirty Dozen Guide to Food Chemicals identifies and highlights the 12 food additives that pose the greatest health risks and should be avoided in the diet. Shopper's Guide to Avoiding GMO Food helps consumers identify and avoid foods containing genetically engineered ingredients, as the U.S. government does not require mandatory labeling of such products. Meat and Dairy Label Decoder helps consumers navigate confusing and often misleading claims on meat, dairy, and egg product labels. It evaluates various certifications and terms, such as organic, grass-fed, free-range, and no antibiotics, to identify which ones represent truly responsible and humane farming practices, and which may be deceptive or lack meaningful standards. Skin Deep Cosmetic Database, a free searchable online tool that helps consumers and scientists understand the safety of ingredients and personal care products. It contains information on over 130,000 products and 8,892 unique ingredients, with each product and ingredient assigned a hazard score from 1 to 10, based on data from nearly 60 toxicity and regulatory databases. Guide to Sunscreens, a free searchable online tool that helps consumers evaluate the safety and effectiveness of sunscreens, daily moisturizers, lip products, and SPF-rated makeup. And Guide to Healthy Cleaning, a free searchable online tool that helps consumers evaluate the safety of household cleaning products. It provides hazard ratings for over 2,000 cleaning products and more than 1,000 ingredients, based on scientific data from toxicity databases, peer-reviewed literature, and ingredient disclosure transparency.
Imagine discovering that the real power to heal has been inside you all along. Introducing Unlock Your Health Potential. This groundbreaking guide reveals how to move beyond chasing symptoms and instead uncover the true root causes behind your fatigue, mood changes, chronic aches, and other long-standing conditions, so you can finally experience the lasting relief and vitality you deserve. This book is a treasure trove of practical information. It offers the guidance and confidence you need to take charge of your well-being, break out of the vicious cycle of declining health, and rebuild the vibrant life you deserve.
To summarize, modern diet and lifestyle rely increasingly on diverse synthetic chemicals, and everyday food and consumer products often act as an interface between those chemicals and humans. Over 140 million chemicals are registered under the Chemical Abstract Service, and as the number grows rapidly, understanding their human health implications is increasingly becoming a challenge. For industries contaminate our diet and lifestyle with devastating toxicity. The food industry, the pharmaceuticals industry, the personal care products industry, and the household cleaning products industry. All four industries utilize a variety of harmful chemicals that are often untested and unregulated in their products. These industries exert significant influence over government policies, scientific research, and public health initiatives. They often prioritize profit over public health, leading to the proliferation of toxic products and unhealthy foods that contribute to various diseases. It's estimated that nearly 60% of U.S. adults' calorie consumption comes from ultra-processed food. Among American children, that portion is close to 70%. In other words, ultra-processed food is beyond overwhelming the American diet at this point. Ultra-processed food has been linked to a variety of health problems, including obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. Our food should be nourishing and safe to eat, but more than 10,000 chemicals, some of which are potentially toxic, are allowed in cereal, snacks, meat, and many other types of food sold in the U.S. Almost 99% of food chemicals introduced since 2000 were green light for use by food and chemical companies, rather than properly reviewed by the Food and Drug Administration. Many of these widely used chemicals are associated with major health harms, including increased risk of cancer, developmental harm, and hormone disruption. It's a well-documented fact that adverse prescription drug effects and other medical errors are the third leading cause of death in America. Adverse drug events harm 2.7 million hospitalized patients in the U.S. annually, with over 106,000 deaths, and that's just for hospitalized patients. Another 350,000 adverse drug events occur in U.S. nursing homes each year. Beyond the harmful side effects of the active ingredients in drugs, there are many more ingredients in every pill you take than what is listed on the bottle label. These other ingredients, aka inactive ingredients, which are combined with the therapeutic one, are often sourced from around the world before landing in your medicine cabinet. And they are not always benign. An extensive range of studies and lawsuits already document strategies by which pharmaceutical companies hide, ignore, or misrepresent evidence about new drugs, distort the medical literature, and misrepresent products to prescribing physicians. Personal care products as well as household cleaning products are laden with toxic chemicals too. Toxic products contain one or more toxic chemicals that can cause health and/or environmental harm. These products are a growing public health concern, with numerous substances linked to hormone disruption, cancer, reproductive harm, and developmental issues. There are currently more than 85,000 chemicals in the U.S. that make up the products we use daily, and few have been tested for safety. The Environmental Working Group provides a massive body of research on the topic of toxic diet, toxic lifestyle. They also develop online guides that provide you with practical solutions to protect yourself and your family from everyday exposures to potentially harmful chemicals. We highly recommend utilizing their guides on a regular basis. If you regularly consume packaged, processed, restaurant, or junk food more than you consume fresh, whole, unprocessed foods, don't read food labels carefully to ensure minimal processing and fewer additives. Rarely prioritize certifications such as USDA Organic or Non-GMO Project Verified. Rarely prioritize labels such as sustainably raised, humanely raised, organic, pasture-raised, grass-fed, wild-caught, antibiotic-free, and hormone-free. Don't limit or avoid foods with long ingredient lists, added sugars, and artificial additives and preservatives. Mostly consume factory farm meat, dairy, and eggs. Regularly consume added sugar, monosodium glutamate, artificial sweeteners, artificial trans fats, natural and artificial flavors, artificial food colors, or other food additives and preservatives. Don't read personal care and household cleaning product labels carefully to ensure minimal exposure to toxins. And don't prioritize learning about potentially toxic ingredients and replacing potentially toxic products with safer alternatives. Your diet and lifestyle choices might be harming your health. Remember, suppressing a symptom may ease your suffering and help in the immediate moment, but it never gets to the underlying cause. This approach does not take into account your body's natural self-healing mechanisms and causes long-term dysfunction. Thus, it is best to think why, how, and mechanism of various conditions rather than focusing on the condition itself. Looking for tips and strategies on how to confirm and resolve this root cause? Our book, Unlock Your Health Potential, offers a comprehensive guide for how to confirm, address, and resolve the 24 major root causes discussed in this video series. For immediate actions you may take now to kickstart your healing journey, check our Master Your Health in 8 Weeks program. We hope you enjoyed and benefited from this short video. For a list of supporting references and resources, check this video description below. Please remember to like and share this video. May you achieve your health goals and experience joy, resilience, and optimal health.